Hello guys and welcome back to the channel and to Hampton Court for Concours of Elegance, my favourite event of the year, and this year they're celebrating 75 years of Ferrari, which is even more special. The first cars we see when we come into the show is a row of Ferraris, and to start off with is this 250 GTO finished in a very dark blue, although it looks black on camera. Here we have what I think is probably one of the highlights of the show, the Ferrari 365P Berlinetta Speciale. And as you can see, if you go close up, it's a three-seater. Yes, a three-seater Ferrari, just like the McLaren F1 many decades later. So although this car looks like a wide-body Dino, in fact, it is a very different car. First of all, it has a V12 engine in it from the 250 LM, which is basically a race car engine, and they only made two. It was never meant to go into production because Enzo believed that mid-engine V12 cars were not for the road. However, the clients, well, two clients specifically demanded it. One of them was Agnelli, the owner of Fiat. Nat was owned by the Chinetti family, who are the famous importers for Ferrari in North America, making them an important part of Ferrari's history. Here we have a Ferrari 250 short wheelbase driven by Stirling Moss. As far as I know, Stirling Moss raced for Ferrari 11 times in sports cars. He never actually got to drive for them in Formula 1. And he won 9 times, I believe, so he's got a pretty good record. Here we have a Ferrari 500 Mondial by Scaglietti. Ferrari, of course, is famous for their 12-cylinder cars, but these cars were actually 4-cylinder, and the engine was designed by Lampredi, who had a reputation of producing cars that had a lot of torque. I personally prefer the Colombo engine cars. I think the engines actually look nicer, but the Lampredi ones are really powerful. A Ferrari 250 GT Europa is attracting a lot of attention, and you can see why. It's basically a rusted old Ferrari, which you don't really see a lot. Ferrari F50, a car that doesn't really get a lot of love when it comes to a general scheme of Ferrari supercars, or special series cars rather. But I really love this car. It's the first of the V12s. It's manual, it's an open roof car, and I think it'll be awesome to drive. Most 250 GT Europas were bodied by Pininfarina, but this one is a rarer Vignale body car. In fact, it's the last ever Ferrari to be bodied by Vignale. Just take a look at the interior. It's actually got a wine bottle holder. I don't think I've ever seen that in a Ferrari GT car. This might be a bit of a controversial opinion, but I think this Ferrari 250 GT Europa Vignale body car looks a bit like a Lamborghini 350 GT, especially from this angle. What do you think? Here we have a Ferrari Monza SP1. This car came in two forms, the SP1 and SP2. In my opinion, the SP1 is the better looking car. It's purer, and as far as I know, it was also voted as one of the most beautiful cars ever made. Definitely in the recent times, it's one of the most beautiful cars ever made. For those of you who have watched my previous videos and are subscribers to my channel, you would know that I'm not a big fan of the Senna, and here's the reason why. When this car was first rumoured, I was really excited about it. I heard that McLaren were building a track-focused car. It was going to be named after this Ayrton Senna, and at that point, McLaren were almost unbeatable. I mean, Ferrari were on the back foot, I think it's fair to say. And then when this car was released, when I saw the pictures, I thought, what on earth have they done? It's one of the ugliest cars I've ever seen. I still maintain that. I mean, it's like a car crash. I still think it's like 3 cars in one, and they should have done a better job in designing it. Here we have something that I've been thinking about for a long time, and finally somebody has actually done it. A resto mode Ferrari 308 GTS. What they have done is taken the entire car apart and rebuilt it from the ground up, including stiffening the chassis, increasing the horsepower. You have 2 options of what kind of horsepower you want. Various parts of it have been replaced with carbon fiber, and they've also taken the pop-up headlights away and kind of replaced it with more modern ones to fit the regulations that we have nowadays. The Porsche Carrera GT is all the rage these days, but this one is a Zagato bodied car, the GTZ, finished in green. This has to be one of the coolest cars here, and it's not even a car really, it's a toy car. I mean, just look at it. It's got a baby Momo steering wheel as well. How cool is that? This is a RML Resto mod, inspired by the Ferrari 250 short wheelbase. I like the idea of the car, considering that the 250 short wheelbases are extremely expensive, and if you want something that's new but that has the same kind of feel to it, then this would be ideal for you. The only thing I have a problem with, I guess, are the wheels. They don't seem to look right. Here we have a historic Bugatti EB110 Super Sport. The reason why this one is historic is because it was used as a prototype. The engine was a prototype. This one's also got a experimental wing as well as a rear view camera, and this is the only EB110 that was built as a right-hand drive car. Here we have a Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost. If Harrods was to spec a Rolls-Royce, this is what it would look like. Here we have an ATS 2500 GT. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know anything about this car, but it does look like a budget 250 LM. Here we have a Ferrari 206 Dino GT. These are actually quite rare cars, the 246 is more common. Here we have a Ferrari 275 GTB, one of my favourite cars, and an absolute stunning colour as well. Here we have a Ford GT40 Mark III, the road-going version of the GT40. This car was never actually used in racing. Here we have something that we don't normally see at car shows together, a Lamborghini Miura SV with a Lamborghini Countach LP400 Periscopio. Both are rare cars, but what's interesting is comparing the two side by side. This is a 1971 car, and just 5 years later, Lamborghini produced this. I mean, it looks like a rocket ship on wheels. This specific Countach that you see here took 4 years to restore by Lamborghini's Polo Storico department. I mean, I don't really know why it took 4 years, but it does look amazing. The Lamborghini Sian, guys, one of those limited edition Lamborghinis, and it looks stunning, especially in this black and gold livery. Here we have a Porsche 911 conversion to a 935 by Kramer Racing. Here we have a Maserati 500S, an ex-Fangio car, so a lot of history and very cool. Here we have a McLaren MP4-7 driven by Ayrton Senna in the classic Marlboro livery. The McLaren F1 GTR Longtail, not my favorite version of the McLaren F1. I prefer the standard car, and look at the size of the wing and the rear end. I mean, just look at it, it's huge. One of the reasons I love coming to these kind of shows is things like this. This is a Colombo V12 engine from a Ferrari for sale, basically. It's an auction lot, but just look at it, it looks absolutely stunning. gonna finish the video off here, guys, in front of this 250 short wheelbase. See you next time. Bye.